My first question is, how can you measure the value of online customer feedback?
Part of our service is people come online to investigate new restaurants, try to find somewhere new to order from. So part of the feedback there is just through the review system. So people who order can then go on and review. That's one part of it, but then with social media, it's the other part of it, what people think of our service. So it's not necessarily the end part, how the food was, the delivery, which they're encouraged to review, but they will, whether we encourage it or not, come and speak to us on social media and tell us how we're doing if we disappointed them. And as an aggregator, sometimes we're going to take the blame for perhaps what our partner restaurant should, take the blame for if the food wasn't good. They will blame it, back to Just Eat. So it's really interesting to collect that feedback, especially being web-based. We don't know, in marketing, we don't speak to our customers every day. So what is it we can improve on?
I think first of all, social gives us, and it's a cliche, but the ultimate listening tool. Our customers are incredibly passionate about sport and incredibly passionate about being able to bet. And as a result, you have quite a sophisticated group of customers who, some who are actually, it is their profession to trade on Betfair. So where social listening and the value of customer feedback really comes into it is when there's an outage. Because if we have technical problems, as all websites do at times, then Twitter goes mad. Literally goes ballistic. So we've got 4 guys who are literally scanning the feeds all day long, responding to people. And where we now want to take it is effectively bring some of those people in and do more co-creation. So effectively get them in a room. We have user research labs at our headquarters in Hammersmith. Get them in a room and get them to tell us what they want to see on Betfair and how they use it. We obviously do a lot of user testing anyway, but it's actually now getting them to input what they want to see as opposed to us going, do you like our new homepage, yes or no?
Yeah, excellent. And actually that really takes us very nicely onto another subject area I wanted to cover today, which is user-generated content. You talked about co-creation. I know, I think Ellie Dickinson, is Ellie in the room? So Ellie from Tesco. Ellie, if you'd like to stand up. I think you've got a question I'd like to field at this point.
So user-generated content is really great at creating brand trust, but are there any systems in place to police that content?
Yeah, I think, can I ask Paul, I imagine with your level of brand advocacy on some of your artists that you deal with, you must have an issue around policing moderation. How do you deal with that?
Well, firstly, you can't police the internet, so you can plug a lot of energy into trying to do that, and it would be totally pointless. I think that you were talking about people kind of police themselves. I think something that makes us quite lucky is that fandom of an artist has always been about passion and enthusiasm, and so the input that you get or the contribution that you get from fans is overwhelmingly positive, 99.9% of the time. And if there's one mischief maker in there who chooses not to be like that, they instantly rounded upon by the real fans, and they'll kind of shut them down, and they'll just kind of pass through. The nature of particularly social media, and is that will probably pass through your feed quite quickly. So we're lucky that I think we have our brands, our artists, if you like, and the music that they make is something that has always generated massive amounts of advocacy, really passionate advocacy that really the artists earn themselves. We don't really drum that up out of nowhere. The artists earn that themselves. And when we think about user-generated content, the conversation between fans about the gig last night, that's user-generated content for us because generally it's positive, And also, if you think about our artists, one of our artists is Ellie Goulding. She's extremely active on Instagram. So as a user of that service, she's kind of generating her own user-generated content, if you like. Yet it's premium because it's coming from her, and that in turn spawns a whole conversation. So I think we don't really have to police that particularly.
And Ellie, can I put it back to you? At Tesco, are you more worried about moderation per se? Is that something that?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, obviously we have a certain audience, and obviously Tesco being quite a large brand, if something is said from a customer, it's important to us. We're kind of not the first target in a lot of sense for several things that come up in the press. So I guess for us, like, if things are being said by customers and people are bringing up their own content, it's good to kind of keep an eye on what's exactly being said so we can respond correctly. I kind of just wondered how you kind of protect your brand in that sense as well.
I think there was a tendency a while ago when Twitter sort of first made it big to just have Twitter walls at conferences and Twitter streams on websites. I think it was Skittles who got absolutely flamed by it. But I know that there are now sort of technology providers who actually give you a clean Twitter feed. For example, if you run a TV ad and you want someone to interact with a hashtag, they actually give you the opportunity now to screen out content you wouldn't want to show on your website. Now, absolutely to Paul's point, you can't police the internet and you shouldn't try. But I think you can be sensible about what you ask people to do, and it's sort of operating in those parameters.
I think the big mistakes come from brands who should know that they're likely to get beaten up if they try certain things, and you can't. There's been some really high-profile examples, and you sort of think, well, you deserved that because you've not really thought that. You've not really thought about that.